All right, welcome back to Terrible at Fishing, everybody. Well, we're going to go into some of the emotions that we have seen since the dams have been released of water. So, watch the funny intro. We'll start it lighthearted. All right, well, this is something, people get so emotional over this, and I can see why. I mean, for the environmentalists, we're experiencing the world's largest dam removal in history here locally in Klamath County and Siskiyou County in Northern California. 3 dams have been released, and the drawdowns have started to happen. Actually, they're finished. The drawdowns are finished. So when you release the dams, you hope that, you can reestablish a river that existed many, many centuries ago. So this is the drawdown right here of one of the dams. What ends up happening, of course, is water recedes and all that sediment just goes downstream in a river, and it's kind of a mess. So when dams are released, we expect, a messy area. So, but what a lot of people don't see when reservoirs are drawn down is that all the mud and sediment that's left there. Now, the local indigenous people and ecologists are reseeding this area with natural plants. And that is wonderful, but it doesn't take right of way. So what you end up seeing is, unfortunately, you see this. We see large fish kills. And, they like to say these perch and things like that, but, there's bass in here and all sorts of other bird, crappie and bluegill and things like that. So fish kill is, it was expected, right? It was just expected. But what we didn't expect, and I forgot to put the picture in here, is large invertebrates, large animals dying. Somebody on one of the Facebook groups posted 2 elk sinking into the marsh or into the mud and dying. Deer are dying. Lots of animals are dying. So in this transition period, while we watch wildlife, die, we start to see emerge the original, at least the new Klamath River. And the whole point of this was twofold. One, cool down the river so algae and blooms wouldn't happen and wouldn't create a hazardous environment for other species that couldn't survive in it. That's probably the most important reason, from my point of view. The second reason was, of course, and this is where their primary reason, from their point of view, was to reestablish a spawning route for Chinook and Steelhead. And was really the primary, according to them, was to reestablish Chinook salmon to come all the way up. They think to Upper Klamath and farther. If you watch my video on the Link River, you'll know that was never historically something that happened. And the facts just are obvious. Pictures, documentation, people smarter than me attest to it. But, you have certain reefs, starting, there's a big reef at Keno. There's a big reef here in Klamath Falls. And so the elevations between the two is very difficult to traverse. Salmon and steelhead. Now, fish ladders have been put in there, and fish ladders, they say will work, although many people say they don't work. That's why you got rid of the dams. So it is a point of controversy. But because of the loss of lots of species of fish and the killing of mammals, right now, it has sparked a lot of emotion in the people in our area. And to be honest, I understand that. I'm emotional about it. Nobody wants to see this. Nobody wants to see elk sink into quicksand and die. Even if they don't suffocate, they will die of starvation. And we're seeing this with many different mammals, and that's disturbing. Honestly, it's disturbing. I hope, and somebody said, I contradict myself. I can tell you that I hope that this flourishes. I hope. But nobody says that it's going to. Everybody uses terms like hope, should, prospectively, we hope, could. These are all words with disclaimers attached to them. I hope that the river flourishes. Who doesn't? After all this being done, I hope this happens. But in the meantime, everybody locally has to watch death in hopes for something that existed over 100 years ago might come into a resemblance of what it was back then, even though we know that over 100 years ago, there was never Chinook or steelhead that could possibly make it into Upper Klamath and beyond annually. They just could not do it. It just couldn't do it. Let me see if I gotta find this image now, the reason being is that it would constantly dry up. The river would, and the Link River would. And this particular image here is one of many and many images of the Link River. Back in the day, before the Link Dam was made. And I don't know, guys. Are we fantasizing too much? I know a lot of smart people went into this project. This is undeniable. This is one of many pictures of what the Link River would look like in July and August. Well, unless you found the missing link and a fish actually sprouted legs, walked across this and went into the Upper Klamath, that's impossible. So where I live, we'll probably never see Chinook or steelhead, because I live in Klamath Falls, right next to this actually. We'll probably never see it. If I do, great, I'll have good fishing. But anybody who knows anything about from Upper Klamath down to Link, not Link, but Keno, you know that the water quality is pretty bad. Who would want, if I was a fish, I wouldn't want to go in there. I'd stop at the Link. And the Link has natural reefs in it. So just think that even back in these days, it even made it up to this dry area, would be a far, far cry for you to think that. It wasn't likely. But in the meantime, all of us here locally, We have to watch this massacre of animals, both aquarium, aquatic and land loving, until all this comes about. So I don't know. Emotions are going to run even higher as this continues on. And those on, Facebook and YouTube and things like that, we can't stop it. It's just going to happen. And it's a shame that there aren't ecologists out there trying to rescue these animals and that are dying in the mud. But it is something that we have to watch and find their carcasses later and hope that this effort to recreate a healthier river for a better migration of a species that used to use it to some extent would spring back into action. But in the meantime, all of us locals, we have to endure what we're watching. And I don't know. Some people say, I understand emotional responses. I'm emotional about it. But nothing I can do about it. Right? When I see an animal in danger, you try to save it without endangering myself. But that mud is so thick, it is true quicksand. So, anyway, you guys take care. For all of us locals here in Siskiyou and Klamath County, our hearts are being tugged at for what they say is a greater good. We'll see. Take care.